Hi, buddy. Well, guess what? Guess who's on time? Because today's start was supposed to be 3:15. So only 4 minutes behind the official start time, which, as you know, the rules. Everybody knows the rules.
What are the rules, Jimmy?
Everybody knows the rules. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. I got on the phone here. The world's premier voice impressionist, Mike McCrae, is with us from Austin, Texas. Hi, Mike.
Hey,
McCrae.
is this Jimmy on Times? Jimmy on Times?
Yeah. It's Jimmy on Times. Jimmy on Times.
That's your nickname.
All right. Let's how are things? How'd the show go? Mike?
Which one?
I don't know. You did a couple of big stand-up shows. You were down at the thing.
Oh, at the Velveeta Room? Yeah, always fun. I got a few more coming up, too. Very central Texas locations. I'll tell you about those afterwards if you want.
Oh, sure. Okay, ready? Let's jump into it because I think I know who's going to be calling, and I'm excited to talk to him. Here we go. Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
What's up, dude? It's Cash Patel. Oh, shoot.
No.
FBI Director Cash Patel. So nice to hear from you. What have you been up to?
You know me, dude. Rounding up the honeys and confiscating illicit money.
I see. Well, somebody has to do it.
Absolutely, dude. Are you kidding? Enforcing the law while at the same time absorbing a constant pulse of female desire. I'm uniquely qualified, Brohim.
I hear you have had quite a week this week.
Quite the week indeed. Quite the week indeed, dude. Hold up. 28, 29, 30 seconds. Fuck yeah. Fuckity fuck FBI D's nuts blowjob. Oh shit, what?
All right, settle down, please. Tell us what about this week of yours.
So Jimmy, I was a victim of a document leak.
Yeah.
Me, FBI Director Cash Patel, by Iran state actors or proxies using hackers, and said hackers were able to obtain emails and photographs of mine, personal information, so on and so forth. So there it is. All my personal shit is just out there, dude.
This must feel violating. Is it embarrassing to go through something like this?
Not at all, dude. Not for me.
Because you have super thick skin?
No, because people already knew that I was boring as shit in real life, and the leaked information only validated that. The pictures were of me sniffing cigars, smoking cigars, as if to say, hey, remember how in the 90s cigars were a super manly thing? Is that still happening?
No.
Pictures of me sitting in expensive cars that I don't own, pics of me with celebrities that I begged them for, me next to famous landmarks, just me taking selfies, no one else.
Oh, I see.
Once again, showing what everybody already knew. Despite all the shit talking, I'm 5'4.5", have no friends, and have the voice of a trans man.
Oh my God.
There was literally nothing embarrassing or incriminating in those leaks at all. Probably only 1% of adult American males could say that if the same shit happened to them, which in its own way is embarrassing as shit, but just personally, not politically.
And then another source pointed to a potential account belonging to you on a porn site.
Yeah, that was my account on X videos. Shocker. Jimmy, sometimes I watch porn. And masturbate to said porn. I know that sounds insane, but I've heard maybe there's like 2 or 3 other guys in the world who do that too.
All right, point taken.
But at the end of the day, this was a leak, dude, from an enemy combatant. It was a cyber attack on me personally, so in a way, it felt kind of cool. Technically, I am in the war. Part of the war has to do with me, which is pretty fucking sick. I'm a war fighter, dude. Don't even step, bitch.
All right. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you, dude. That means a lot to me, actually. So needless to say, we could not let this act of aggression go unanswered. It was imperative that we retaliate, and swiftly.
Against Iran or its proxies?
Ideally, yes, but in a humiliating turn of events, we proved unable to breach their firewalls. Yet another indicator that this war is going absolutely horribly, something we need to obscure from the public.
So what target did you retaliate against?
Kristi Noem's husband.
Oh, gee. I know about this. That was you? You hacked into his phone?
We already had it, dude. Of course it was us who leaked it. But we have all that shit on everybody. We just sit on it until we need it. We're the FBI, dude. We are still the house that J. Edgar built.
Ah, I see.
Which accomplished several things with one blow, showing how awesome I am at this shit. Namely, 1, people forgot all about me with shades on and a convertible. 2, distracted from our ability to hack Iran back. And 3, threw a former Trump loyalist and her entire fucking family under the bus. Politics of personal destruction, son.
And you did destroy them.
Oh, for sure, dude. There is no coming back from that plastic titty shit.
No.
Ironically, J. Edgar would have been way into this. But, yeah, you were out of the conservative club if you get caught with that perv shit. They're all into it, dude, for sure. But you cannot get caught. It can't happen. And he took pics of himself like that, dude.
I know.
And put them in the cloud.
Yeah, I know.
He just couldn't enjoy himself in the mirror alone. These fucking freaks can't help themselves, dude. It fucking kills me. Me looking at vanilla-ass evil Lovia vids on X videos probably doesn't seem so fucked up now, does it?
Probably not.
What I want to know is, where did he keep those huge plastic titties? Like, where in the house? Where his wife or his kids couldn't find them? Like, did he have to disguise them? Like, what if a dog got them and thought it was a chew toy, dude? They'd have to shoot that little fucker, too.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to investigate. That's my next case. Where do you hide them titties, brah?
Okay. Sounds good.
So basically, I took my very own not perverted sex scandal document leak and replaced it with the most perverted sex scandal leak in recent memory. So unless they got actual FBI docs alongside that other shit, which I doubt, I'm fucking golden, dude. I'm taking Randy and them to the Arlington Cheesecake Factory and getting that good, stupid fucked up, dude.
All right. All right. You sure they didn't get any FBI emails?
I mean, I doubt it.
Why do you doubt it?
Because that would be so fucking bad that my brain can't even conceive of it. So I have to say that it could not have happened.
Huh. Well, I'm sure you're right. Well, we got to go. Bye, Director Patel.
Wait, hold up, dude. What do you mean? This is not clutch.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, my God.
Gosh.
Yeah, you know what? That I didn't think of it that way. Nothing actually came out from the hack. Like nothing.
No, dude.
No.
And then we got fucking distracted.
Poor Kristi Noem.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
You don't think Kristi Noem knew about her husband's cross-dressing? By the way, I'm excited because, oh my God, I was been asking this question for a year now. Where have all the cross-dressers gone? Everybody's trans. Well, finally, we found one. He's a cross-dresser and not a trans. Isn't that amazing? No?
Well, yeah, but now they're going to say, yeah, that's part of like what trans is now, is saying the cross-dressers are trans.
Yeah, everything's trans.
There
right?
used to be trans people and then also dudes who were into cross-dressing, and those were two different groups.
Totally.
Now they're one group, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm still like Cash Patel.
Yeah, no, but they are like one group now, right? I mean,
I think about that all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like we've erased it and we just said like, hey, you know how there used to be like men who were perverts to like cross dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Like there used to be daytime.
That whole thing that was like a known thing throughout human history is just doesn't exist.
Yeah, we've known it for a long time. I mean, that's why, actors in the old days on stage in Greece, and they used to be women. I mean, it used to be men dressed up as women. Women weren't allowed. So And that was just a cover because they like to dress. Anyway, this has been forever. And then the trans came along and they said, nope, there's no such thing. Everybody's trans. And of course, we know why they did that, right? Because it gave them more, a bigger group of people. No?
Everybody's trans, dude.
Especially your voice.
I know, man.
All right. All right, let's move on. Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hello, Jimmy Dore. This is Kevin Spacey.
Disgraced actor Kevin Spacey, acquaintance of the show. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
Hey, to what do we owe this pleasure, sir?
Well, Jimmy, I just wanted to call your show because you've always been so generous to me in giving me access to your audience. And no other news outlet will have me on or even take a message from me.
What did you want to convey to my audience exactly?
To dispel these ridiculous rumors about my death, of course.
What rumors? I haven't heard anything about the rumors that you are unfortunately not true.
Very funny. As I'm sure everyone is aware, at the beginning of this current war with Iran, a rumor started to circulate on social media that I had been killed in an airstrike on Tel Aviv. I'm happy to report that no such thing occurred, and I was safely inside a bomb shelter.
I thought only Jewish Israelis were allowed in the bomb shelters.
Turns out they make exceptions for world-famous Israelophilic sex crime refugees.
Ah, thank goodness.
I know, right? Anyway, I'm alive, so this was all fake news.
I don't think it was any kind of news at all, actually. This is the first I've even hearing about it.
Jimmy, this was extensively reported upon and debunked by the Hindustan Times over 3 weeks ago. Jimmy, you should really expand your horizons when it comes to your news sources.
All right. Hey, I'll add them to the list. What else is going on with you, Kevin Spacey?
Oh, the usual. Just settled a few civil cases out of court.
Yeah, let me guess. SCX abuse cases?
How did you know that, Kreskin? How did you know?
Just call it a hunch.
Well, as you probably know, or should, I have defeated all my accusers in court up to now. However, my lawyer warned these three bitter little twinks might actually have a case. Oh, well. Happily, I had a much more satisfying day in court a few weeks ago.
Oh, really? What was that?
Jimmy, do you remember how in 2017 I was accused by various people of sexual misconduct and fired from the hit Netflix show House of Cards?
Yeah, of course. But what does all this have to do with living in Israel now during the war with Iran?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So by firing me and pulling the plug on the season, the production company MRC lost $100 million.
No. Wow.
Good, I said. Hope it hurts.
Wow.
But then they sued their insurance company, saying they should have been compensated fully because their insurance policy for House of Cards included a clause covering debilitating illness of a primary actor.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Well, the same people who fired me all of a sudden claimed that I had an illness, sex addiction.
Oh.
And that was why they had to end the show. So the insurance company should pay.
Oh, my God.
I know, shameful. But luckily, I was called to the stand by the defense. Oh, and Jimmy, revenge is sweet. Sex addiction, I said. Never heard of her. Sure, I went to rehab. It was for some knee shit or some shit. And besides, for that clause to be met, I would have to be having so much sex that it interfered with production, which was unfortunately not the case.
I see.
And a few days ago, the jury returned a verdict of fuck you to the people who fired me and ruined my life. Glad I could return the favor, fellas.
I hate to say it, but that is kind of awesome in a way.
Thank you. And the best part was, since it was a legal battle between a Hollywood production company and a Hollywood insurance company, no matter which way it went, my Israeli benefactors would be happy.
Okay. Weren't you going to get back to the Iran war topic?
I was lying. I mean, okay, I guess, whatever. The war has been a huge success so far. They could even stop now and still proclaim victory. The Iranian regime is still more or less intact. The Straits of Hormuz are now closed to international shipping. This is a huge win for Trump, in my opinion.
Do you really think that?
Of course not, but kissing his ass might be my only way back into making money in the States.
I thought you liked it over there.
Are you kidding? Yeah, I love having shekels sarcastically thrown at me while singing Across the Sea in a tiny cabaret stage. I love it. Also, there are bombs here sometimes. Awesome, dude. It rocks. Seriously, get me the fuck out of here. I want to come home.
Okay, well, best of luck with that, Kevin Spacey, but we got a show to do. Take care. Goodbye.
Please sue me so I can be in the news again.
All right, bye. Nicely done.
That scam.
That's all right. Tell people where you're going to be, Mikey.
Hey, follow me on Instagram, Mike McCrae Online, M-A-C-R-A-E. You can see me doing shows in Austin. I'll be at Marble Falls at a theater next week, Wednesday the 8th. Also, I'll be in Wimberley, Texas, Thursday the 30th. I don't have those details in front of me. It'll be on my Instagram page. Also, I'll be doing Master Pancake at the Paramount Theater Thursday the 9th if you have Moon Tower badges. A lot of stuff going on.
Oh, you're going to be doing that Moon Tower thing.
I am just doing that part of it. I'm not part of the festival.
Remember when we got invited to that? Remember that? I remember.
First year.
The first year. I was there the first year. Never asked me back. That was that. Can you believe it?
Huh?
Can you believe it? That was it. That was.
I don't get it.
Now I'm actually.
I thought you had great shows there at the Spider House Ballroom.
I appreciate you saying that. I did have great shows there. I had a blast there actually, and now I sell tickets, and they still haven't invited me back. So I guess I did something wrong, but now I go.
You don't need them. You don't need to go to that shit. You're selling your own tickets.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. I go when I go to Austin now. Well, now I play Joe Rogan's Club when I go there, and it's sold out every show. So that's always fun. Anyway, you enjoyed. You worked there, right? You opened for me. It was fun.
That's right. That was a great week.
Yeah. All right, pal. Great to talk to you. Take care. Enjoy. Everybody go check out Mike McCrae online on Instagram and go see him. Mike, I encourage you to do more of these. Do you do Cash Patel during your act?
I'm starting to work him in. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh my God.
You should just do nonstop impressions.
You're great.
You would be. I think if I was advising you, which I'm not, if I was your manager, which I'm not, I would tell you, hey, come on, juice it up, do some more of the impressions. That's your forte. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
I do a lot of them.
Oh, good. Okay. Everybody check them out. Free. That spells free. Oh no, I am.
Jeez.
Anyway. All right, pal. Good.
My act is a mix of impressions and non-impressions. In case I'm trying to get people to go to my shows here, so
yeah, no,
I have to be my own salesman, I guess.
I think people would love to hear your impression. I that's my favorite part of your show is when you do the impression. So
nobody else can.
If you see me do a long set, you hear a lot of impressions.
Yeah, nobody can. You're the world's premiere. Anyway, all right, Mikey.
As you say, you said it so many times, I believe it.
It's true. Who does the who? Nobody could do. Who does? Hey, by the way, did you see Vince?
Nobody else does impressions.
Did you see? Well, other people do impressions.
That's my selling point. That should be my thing. The world's only impressionist.
Did you see Double V was on Theo Vaughn? Mike?
Yeah, we talked. That was part of my Double V. Baby, don't you remember last week? That's what I was talking about.
No, I thought we were talking about you stuck at the airport.
That was the previous. Wait a minute.
No, we never covered that.
No, we did. No, I was at the airport talking about how I was on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Oh, is that what happened?
It was fucking layered. It was a very complex sketch. I remember. I understand you probably don't remember it.
No, I don't. All I remember is the airport part. I don't remember because people.
That was the framing, but then the content was the other part.
Because people
That's how I layered those.
People were giving me a hard time. They're like, really? After Vince Vaughn takes down Hollywood, this is what you're talking about? And I was like, oh, yeah, why didn't we talk about that? But I guess we did. And
Okay, they didn't like me being at the airport?
And Double V's hairline is really going back. Have you noticed? It looks weird now.
Yeah, well, I'm like fucking 58, man. What do you want from me?
Well, how about get a celebrity hair plug thing?
You know, I'm just going to be real. I'm going to be me.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I don't even have a cell phone.
Where do you live now?
Chicago.
Can you believe I've never met Vince Vaughn? Steph has met Vince. She used to know him. They used to have the same agent. You know that?
I remember. Yeah, I remember you. Stephanie. Right? You're like, it's not Stephanie. I'm like, fuck, sorry. Okay, fine.
Oh, my God.
All right, pal. I can't believe that they didn't even bring it up that we do an impression. We're the only ones doing it. They didn't even come up. I don't have Theo Vaughn. It didn't come up during their interview that hey, did you see Mike McCrae's over at the Jimmy Dore show does an impression of you? No one else does it. That's what I'm talking about. You do impressions nobody else does, right? You do.
Yeah, that's what I try to do, man.
You do Jeff Bridges. You do Mamdami. Nobody else does Mamdami. You do
Jeff Bridges. He's never heard of me either, man. I guarantee fucking it.
Well, I can see him not being in touch, but
yeah, I'm in kind of a bubble, man.
I'm really. I can't.
That's just
I mean,
I'm on.
You think Vince Vaughn would be flattered, right? And then he would reach out, and then we could have a Vince off. We would have a V versus V or something. That's what I would like. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great?
It'd be like, just wherever you don't listen to some of the previous sketches.
Nah, I would think, come on, he's got a sense of, come on. Nobody's got a better sense of humor than Double V, especially he knows that, we hate Hollywood as much as he does. And anyway, all right, we got to move on, I guess. I don't feel like doing the show today at all. I almost canceled.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Do your show outside. You guys should do your show outside sometime.
I would, we'd have to move all our cameras, so that'd be a big pain in the ass. But...
I know, it's probably unrealistic.
Okay, buddy. All right, here we go. We're gonna do. Hey, Trump is speaking at 9 p.m. Eastern time today, so we might cover that live. So anyway, who cares? All right, Mikey. Take care.
Oh, are you saying that to me?
I was just saying it.
Oh, okay. I will.
All right, we'll see you, pal.
All right, I'll watch it. All right, bye, guys.
Bye, buddy.
All right, we'll be right back. Speaking of gold has hit its biggest year since 1979. It's up 67%, 53 new all-time highs, and then it blew past $5,500 in January. Right now, it's pulled back, and every major bank on Wall Street, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, UBS, is telling their clients that this is the buy window before gold hits $6,000, $7,000, and $8,000. Meanwhile, silver is sitting on a structural supply deficit for the sixth straight year, with solar panels and electric vehicles consuming more of it every single day. The central banks of China, Poland, Brazil, and India are buying gold at record prices. The Fed just froze rate cuts. The Iran war is spiking oil, and you can still call Monetary Gold today and get your complimentary gold and silver guide. The #1 requested guide in America for more than 25 years, absolutely free. Call 800-476-7790 or go to jimmylovesgold.com. That's jimmylovesgold.com or 800-476-7790.
Come back to Steph. Oh, okay. Here we are. Kurt Metzger is here.
Hey.
Kurt, can you regale us? Because we were traveling. We were in Texas, and we flew into San Antonio. No problem. Flew out of San Antonio. No problem.
No problems.
We didn't have any problem in the places that we went to this weekend. But how about you? What happened to you?
I mean, I don't think I'm exaggerating to say LaGuardia was basically like Gaza. I don't think I'm even a little bit out of line saying it was like 3 hours to the security gate.
3 hours.
Crazy. They just had an accident or something there, so they're trying to be extra safe. And we don't have people checking your shoes. How come nobody's checking your shoes no more? I don't think it's because they're cool. I think it's because of the shutdown.
I thought I had. What's wrong? I thought I had read that they were going to stop checking our shoes, that they were going to let us start bringing water on, and they would change the amount of ounces in our liquids that we could bring on board.
Is that right? When?
I don't know. These are things that I've read, and then I've let go of dates.
Oh, this is the eclair.
You know? Okay, but
Wait,
seriously.
I didn't mean to send the eclair.
Did you know that it was going to be 3 hours?
That's a good one, though.
Did you know it was going to be 3 hours before you arrived? And so did that mean that you still had another hour?
No, I didn't know. 3 hours? What am I going to a foreign country like Canada?
Did you miss your flight?
Yeah, I had to reschedule in the line. Luckily, I had plenty of time in the line to be on hold. So that worked out. So there were some blessings.
Yeah, we even had a connecting flight and we made it. Unbelievable. So, and I guess some people are talking about TSA. What's it? No touch, that you get the TSA.
Yeah, that's my no-no square.
I could get my no-no square saved?
Yeah.
No. Well, how does that? Oh, Misha just dance for me sometimes.
Don't touch me there.
Don't touch me there, all right?
This is my...
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Okay, thank you. I did the best I could on that one.
It's like out of Portlandia, isn't it?
Yeah, totally seems like that. All right, let's see here. No, did you get pat downs? Did they do a pat down on you when you went through TSA, or the machines are still working?
If they had stopped to do pat downs, nobody would ever make a flight again. It was that backed up.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the thing with your shoes and all that was never necessary. It was always nonsense.
Well, I don't know. Was TSA ever necessary?
Well, I mean, I guess
isn't it just window
since our own
dressing?
government did 9/11, I'm going to say no.
Right.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Yeah, leave it there.
Leave it there.
You can show Jimmy.
Here's the latest. Kurt is making these videos, and this is the latest, and this is called Epstein, right?
Yeah, Epstein. It's like Seinfeld.
Instead of Seinfeld, it's Epstein. Let's watch one.
Anyway, I really like this chick, but like, no way am I mailing her a frozen canister of my sperm until she texts me a full body shot. You know how it is, Jeff.
I guess.
They all want your sperm. Bunch of sperm whores, the whole lot of them. No offense, Ghislaine.
No, of course not.
So I got a sperm guy now. He's handling all my sperm with the ladies. I just don't have the time, you know? I know. I'm having all these kids I don't raise because I'm African American. Ha ha ha. Pretty racist, guys. JK. So, when is your guys' next pizza party? I can't wait to bust a move. I'm African American, so obviously I can genetically dance.
Where did you read that?
Check it out, you guys. I've totally been working on my moves. Pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Take it to Mars. Fuck yeah.
I fucking hate nerds.
This was the longest here to date of Epstein.
Last thing I remember, I was showing off my sweet moves to Jeff and Ghislaine. And then I heard this noise. It was like an electric motor, like a Tesla, but evil. It was Stephen Hawking.
Elon, that's literally impossible. Both Epstein and Stephen Hawking have been dead for years now. I think that hit really scrambled your circuits. Are you sure you're okay getting home on your own?
Okay, time to head home.
This is the wrong one, Jimmy.
What was that? But there's nothing there.
Sweet Jesus, my balls.
Oh, God, it hurts. Oh, sweet Jesus, that stings. My God, why my balls, God? Not cool. Not cool.
Oh, that hurts. Ow.
Okay.
That's the wrong one. That's an old one. On my Twitter's all the finished ones.
Okay. All right. Let's get to this. So Massie, Thomas Massie destroyed Dan Bongino. God. So here's what Dan Bongino, he tweets this out. I'm frequently disappointed in politicians, but Tom Massie defied the odds in my unfortunate experiences with him as he surpassed my lowest expectations. This zero pretends to be a principled defender of liberty, but in the real world, he supports third world tyranny. Here are the receipts from a phone call I had with this zero, offering him a briefing on multiple investigations he was inserting himself into by publicly commenting on them. Rather than affording the subjects of their cases their constitutional right to due process, Massie chose we wave off the briefings and litigate it on Twitter for clicks. Notice I tried to call him back, but he wasn't interested in facts. It's also of note that I never heard a single word from Massie during the process we engaged in to release the Epstein case docs. This process played out in media everywhere, and yet Massie never reached out. Not once. It's almost as if he wants to be a moron. As if ignorance is bliss for him. I'm horrified. I once believed this guy was authentic. And there's this, he shows you these things. But turns out, guess what? By the way, Thomas Massie supports third world tyranny. I support first world tyranny. Trump takes away all our rights and charges you more at the gas pump. That's first world tyranny, huh?
Third world tyranny was my old punk band he's referring to.
So we're just going to leave it there. We're just going to leave it there,
folks.
And
leave it there.
But guess what? Dan Bongino got community noted on it. You want to hear what the community note? It says the screenshots recycled the same November 2025 phone logs, a 10-minute call plus a missed follow-up. They show contact occurred, but do not refute the January 6th pipe bomb whistleblower letter on mishandling retaliation of Massie's staff threat claims. Bongino left the FBI in January 2026. Well, here Thomas Massie replies. He says, Dan, in your first call, which I think is the first and last occasion you and I ever spoke, you seemed upset that I had received and had released FBI whistleblower information about the pipe bomb investigation. I informed you that your staff had threatened to criminally investigate my staff as retribution against me for pipe bomb or Epstein activity. 3, you threatened to personally finance a defamation suit against reporters on behalf of a subject. Perhaps it was also a veiled threat to sue me. You said those depositions aren't going to fun for the people involved. I guess aren't going to be fun for the people involved. or something like that. In any case, Deputy FBI Director should be financing civil lawsuits against reporters covering cases the FBI is working on. Number 4, you said you were going to call every agent in and get to the bottom of the whistleblower issue. 5, you offered me a briefing, but I was going to be tied up until at least 6 p.m. on the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So I asked how late I could get to the briefing, and you said you were going to leave the office at 5 p.m. 5, I asked you a few questions on the call, and your answers indicated to me that you were perhaps less informed than me on some of the issues, or you were going to be less than forthcoming. A few hours after the call, I received and released new FBI whistleblower information regarding the all-hands meeting, which matched what you told me in number 4 above, related to concerns that the meeting was called to out the whistleblowers. Whoa. Wow.
What does that mean?
What do you mean that? No, they wanted to reveal to the public who the whistleblowers were. That's what that means.
Whoa, okay.
Your second attempted call was the evening I achieved 218 signatures on the Epstein discharge petition, and I had been busy thwarting Mike Johnson's last-ditch effort to derail the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Not sure why your call logs show 1:36 a.m. You called me in the evening, maybe 8-ish? Note, my staff also had the unfortunate pleasure of receiving numerous late-night calls on Signal from FBI staff telling them there were absolutely nothing in the Epstein case and I should back off. So Bongino responds. He says, of course, none of what you just vomited out is even remotely close to what happened, but you know that. You were offered an update on the case, and you waved it off to continue BSing people on X. You were clear about that on the phone. You're a grifter and a fraud, and you know it. Says Dan Bongino.
Oh, my God.
Do you remember?
The podcaster says.
I know.
To the guy who got the Epstein Transparency Act passed.
Right. He's grifting, to get a bigger congressional salary. What are you talking about? He's grifting. He's that. Do you remember I informed you that your staff had threatened my staff? Careful. There are receipts for this. And then Dan Bongino goes silent. So
leave it there. Leave it there, Dan.
He leaves it there after he said, so Bongino's kind of overdoing it with the hyperbole, I think. He's really blowing it, and without wearing his leather bear outfit, too. Wow.
Donkey bong.
So brave, so bold. So he got way ratioed, right?
I bet.
So Bongino got like 9,000 likes. But when here's Massie, 18,000. So he doubled it.
Nice.
That's Bongino's own thread. Bongino he looks like the kind of guy who likes a good spanking. So maybe he enjoyed that spanking. I don't know. Dan Bongino promises to take down Thomas Massie by supporting AIPAC-funded candidate Ed Gelrine and says Massie is the biggest fraud of his lifetime. He adds, who does he think this works with? Who does Bongino... you lost it, Dan. It's over for you. The only people who still want to talk to you are the kind of people you don't want to be around. Their mental cases, okay? Or they're being paid to have an opinion like Cat Turd. Okay, let's listen to
People even hate Kamala as much as Dan now?
Right? I know.
After she lost, they didn't hate her the way everyone hates Dan.
So now here's a new video. It's called Welcome to 2 Minutes of Projection starring Dan Bongino.
Now, let's do it.
I have never...
So everything he says here, he's saying about himself.
To tell you something, I have never been as disappointed in a human being in politics as I am in Tom Massie. I largely stayed out of that race and make too many comments on it because the people of Kentucky will choose who they want. If they want Tom Massie, I'm not a resident of that district. I live in Florida. You pick who you want. Got his opponent coming on in just a little bit, about an hour. We'll ask some questions about some issues that matter to you, constitutional carry, Iran, NATO. However, when I got up there in that position, I could not believe what a fraud this guy was. I mean, like an epic level fraud. Whatever you...
I mean, when I was covering up the Epstein files and lying about Epstein killing himself in prison because I saw the files, even though I wouldn't release the files that proved to me. So, I was just making it up and I was lying and covering up for the PDF files who run the country. Oh, that's when I found out Thomas Massie was a fraud. Okay.
Yeah.
Think of this guy, I'm telling you. I have no dog in the fight. I supported him. He is an absolute fraud. Fraud.
He's
on Twitter, causing a serious problem, by the way. And I thought he believed in due process. He's supposedly a libertarian. He wants to try a case on X. And he didn't do it. I was there from March until January of this year. You know how many times he came over to visit and ask about these cases despite multiple offers, cases he kept bloviating about, what we could have actually told him? 0. And there's nothing he's going to tell you. All of his BS responses, his fake community notes, it's all a distraction from the fact that he doesn't want to admit that he was offered a detailed briefing within certain parameters on these matters he's bloviating about on X in order to attack President Trump and others and due process. Could have cleared it up for him right away, and he just didn't want to do it because he preferred to be stupid. Nothing will change that. He'll try to distract you with his razzle-dazzle, his bot army, like we haven't been through this before. You think you're the first time we've entered into a primary and supported a candidate and had other people come in with the bots and the bullshit? What do you think? We're like newbies at this? I promise I'll far outlast you.
Wow, with his current rating numbers, he couldn't outlast a cigarette. How about that?
What, outlast him at what? What do you do, monkey?
Right. I don't know. What do you outlast what? You mean you're going to keep doing your podcast?
Leave it there? Leaving it there.
Let's leave it there. James says, I find it quite interesting that Bongino went silent and stopped replying to this thread as soon as Thomas Massie advised him that there were receipts. And why are members of the FBI threatening a member of Congress? I do not like that at all. You need to answer, Bongino. Well, he didn't. He didn't answer. Oh, hey, look, it's pedo protector, Dan Bongino.
Nice. Oh, leave it there. Come on, leave it there.
Let's leave it. Look, Superman was the protector of the common folk, okay? And that's just too many people to deal with. The elites want a superhero that only really looks out for a small handful of well-to-do people, like private security, but with a cool outfit. That's what Dan Bongino is. Look down at the ground. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's pedo protector, man. He can't leap a building in a single bound. He's not faster than a speeding bullet, and he can give him a half-ass kung fu moves in a small area, and that's good enough for us. It's Dan Bongino. Okay, all right. We got to go to our guest. Ben Swann's coming.
Ben?
Yeah, there was a comedian in Chicago when I started. His name was Ken Swann.
Mm-hmm.
And so I often slip when I'm talking about Ben Swann and say Ken Swann. Ken Swann, by the way, Ken Swann was very funny.
All right.
He goes, I'm originally from Indiana. We have the lottery there. You only have to name 5 numbers. He goes, so we had the big rollover last month. That was comedian Ken Swann. Very funny. All right, we're going to be right back with Ben Swann. Folks, we have special guest with us, Ben Swann, 2-time Emmy-winning journalist who has worked for various TV stations, including KDBC in El Paso, KFox in El Paso, KTSM in El Paso. Couldn't keep a job in El Paso. They kept WXIX in Newport, KY Cincinnati, and RT America. He is also a political commentator and founder of the Truth in Media Project, a web series that focuses on investigative reporting and alternative news. Welcome back to the show, Ben Swann. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you? You're right. I could not keep a job in El Paso, man. And they actually missed one of them. My very first job there at KDBC before I was on air, I was a videographer, and I destroyed a live truck, so I was fired for that.
Ah, nice.
Confession time.
Now, Ben, I got to ask you: are you juicing? Because you're looking, you're pretty buff.
I am not natty. I am not natty, man.
No, that's all natural.
That's natural. I am not.
Give me one of these. Show me. Let me see it. Bam! Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that, man. You sure it's not even doing it justice, brother.
You saw? Are you getting ready to do the remake of Over the Top?
You know what it is, and that would be great, by the way. It's because I got to get in the ring and fight guys now because nobody pays attention to news anymore. So we got to. That's my new platform. I'm gonna start fighting like who is it? The
Jake Paul
brothers.
Jake Paul. Yeah,
exactly.
I got you. All right. Well, I wanted to have you on because there's a lot of people who are still saying that the Epstein. Well, here's on your. This is your Twitter. There it is. It says Epstein is Pizzagate.
Yeah.
So let me just show a little bit of a clip that you released on your Twitter feed, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate it.
So this is from this. You were on this story 10 years ago, right? When everybody was dismissing this as crazy because that's what the establishment does. Just like if you question the vaccine or the COVID narrative or Dr. Fauci or Russiagate, everybody just, you're crazy, stupid. But of course you didn't. You know, you're one of those types of guys who you don't listen to the establishment and you poke holes in it. So here it was. This started like 10 years ago. Here we are.
Pizzagate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So what exactly is Pizzagate?
Well, the story that came to be known as Pizzagate did not begin with a rumor, nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least. References to pizza, and to pizza handkerchiefs, and to maps, the private gatherings involving powerful people, some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use to speak in coded language. And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography, CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after Pizzagate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now.
So, what do you? First of all, what do you make of all? So there was over 911 mentions in the of pizza in the Epstein files that they released, right? That weren't blacked out.
That's right.
And the cheese pizza thing, it's obvious. What do you say to people who still deny that there's something to these code words? Because didn't even the FBI acknowledge that these were in fact code words, or no?
So the FBI has not acknowledged these are code words. However, not as an official stance, they have not done that. But in 2023, the FBI arrested a guy who was linked to child pornography distribution and child trafficking in the United States. And in the court documents where they explain how they caught him, the FBI investigators said they tracked him using code language, including cheese pizza, that he would use in order to speak to other pedophiles. That's how they found him. So while the FBI won't come out and say, yeah, this is a legitimate way that we track, we know that there are investigations that are run, and this is how they find some of these people. Now, maybe one of the reasons the FBI won't say it publicly is because this is how they track people. They don't want them to stop talking this way. If they keep talking this way, it's easier to find them. But it is absolutely, at least in the case of you can prove that child traffickers have been tracked down, arrested, in cases made against them because of their use of that specific code language.
Now, getting back to Comet Pizza, you know, we actually, I was looking for this video today, but I couldn't find it. did an interview with a guy who had inside information into the Vince Foster murder in the Clinton White House. And it was obviously a murder. And he said that there's a connection to Comet Pizza. Did you ever find anything about that?
Not about Vince Foster. That's very interesting. What I would say is fascinating about Comet Ping Pong Pizza. And listen, there's, Jimmy, you know this, right? Disinformation, right, is the term that the FBI loves to use and politicians love to use, and we got to watch out for disinformation. Disinformation is a very real thing. And what it actually is that when there's a story, when there is something that comes out or it's revealed that is true, or it's too close to the truth, there is a tactic that's used many times by three-letter agencies like the CIA, who will come in and they will throw out tons of crazy stuff online, stuff that's so far over the top. And the point of it is that if you make the discussion totally insane and you get it into these crazy areas, then people can't decipher what is true and what is not, right? And so it's almost like we're going to hide it in plain sight. We're going to flood the zone with as much bad information as possible. So I'll give you an example. Comet Ping Pong Pizza. The claim started to become, oh, Hillary Clinton sacrifices children in the basement. Oh, they're having sex with children in the basement of the pizza. There was nothing in the John Podesta emails that indicated that at all. So where did that come from? To me, that's the disinformation part of it. But there are very interesting things about Comet Ping Pong Pizza that were never truly investigated, including the fact that James Elefantis, the guy who owned it, was named by GQ magazine at one point as one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington, D.C. Now, that seems kind of bizarre to me, right? My question would be, why? Why would a guy who owns a pizza joint in a strip mall on the outskirts of DC be considered one of the 50 most powerful people in a city where you have the president and the administration and senators and members of Congress and lobbyists, and this guy is named as one of the 50 most powerful people? Then you go into Podesta's emails, and what you find is that he's having lots of conversations with lots of people, and he's incredibly politically tied because of pizza, because of like legitimate pizza. Now, maybe that is the truth. I don't know that it's not the truth. But what I do know is that when self-proclaimed pedophiles come out and say, these guys are talking how we talk, this looks like this. The point of that original story you were playing from 10 years ago, the synopsis of it was that we don't have answers to this because no one's investigating.
Right.
Not the Metropolitan Police in DC, not the FBI. Nobody ever investigated it. And we tracked that for 10 years. And still to this day, there's never been an investigation. John Podesta will go on TV and say, totally debunked. Pizzagate was debunked. It was never debunked. How was it debunked and by whom?
Yeah. Did you do you have any information or did you do any investigation into, so they made a big deal out of a guy who went into Comet Pizza and he shot it up, right? But I can't vouch for the veracity of these claims, but I've seen people make claims that when he went in there, what he shot was a computer hard drive. And then that guy has a very interesting, he never went to jail, and then he was actually killed later in a police shootout. Can you talk to any of that? Do you know anything about any of that?
So that's exactly what I've heard. I've heard that he fired his gun into a computer because he went in there to investigate it. He didn't shoot any person who was in there. There's also reports that this guy, if you looked into his background, was himself connected to government entities at one point. And that he did, one of the things that you forgot to mention is after he did this, he came out and did not get jail time. Why? Because he came out and said, I was led astray by online conspiracy theorists who filled my mind with madness. And the prosecutor said, you know what? You've served your time just by admitting that. To me, I mean, if there's anything that stands out that this guy was a plant and he was going in there for specifically that reason, was to discredit anybody who believed in this. And they're still doing that, by the way, now. Look at what's happening with the Iran stuff. You got people like Laura Loomer who comes out and says, there will be a terror attack in the United States. And when there is, you can blame people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and anybody who has not supported this war. It's their fault that this terror attack's about to happen. This is a very tired playbook, but 10 years ago, it was still fairly new. And now people are used to it. As I'm saying this, most of your viewers are going to hear this and say, oh yeah, we can recognize what that is. 10 years ago, people didn't recognize it near as readily.
So that was obviously a psyop. That guy who shot up Comet Pizza was sent there by the feds so they could have a narrative saying, look if these people online keep saying these crazy conspiracy theories, it's going to incite these people to go out and commit violence. And so we have to censor these people on social media. That's the reason and to discredit this theory.
And to discredit the theory, and it silenced the theory. Remember, most mainstream outlets never talked about Pizzagate. By the way, I didn't either until this happened. The only reason I did after the guy went into Comet Ping Pong is I was working on my bio. They left off one of my networks I worked for. So I worked for CBS at the time in Atlanta, and I'm working in Atlanta, and we don't cover Pizzagate at all. People had told me to look into it. I kind of looked at it, I was like, this is crazy stuff. I stayed away from it until this happened. And then every night we're on the news reading stories about this dangerous guy who went in there because of this dangerous conspiracy theory. Well, when that happened, then that's what piqued my curiosity. So wait a minute. We're talking about Macedonian sheep farmers. We're talking about online conspiracy theorists who are causing danger to the world by asking these questions. But it wasn't until this guy goes in there that Megyn Kelly has James Alefantis on her show, who comes in and he talks about it. And I like Megyn Kelly. I like a lot of things about her, but she's just dead wrong about Pizzagate. She was asked recently about it. Does any of this stuff with the Epstein stuff verify that maybe you went too easy on Alefantis when you interviewed him? You didn't push him on any of this stuff. And she says, no, Pizzagate's crazy. I don't believe any of it. But Pizzagate, and I want to just, if I can, Jimmy, just address this too. When I say Epstein is Pizzagate, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that the theory of children being held in a pizza parlor and raped and tortured and eaten by Hillary Clinton is nuts. That's not true. But that was never Pizzagate. Pizzagate was the belief that there are circles of elites in society. Elites, I use that term loosely. But wealthy and powerful people, there are circles of those people who also traffic, sexually abuse, and ritualistically torture children. Those people exist. And what Epstein proved is not that it's just one group of people, but he proved without question that those people do exist. I had Michael Tracy on my show recently because, he's a guy who doesn't believe any of it. And he says there's no evidence of it. And we had a very good conversation. It wasn't ugly at all, but we had a conversation about why he believes that. And one of the things that I had to point out to him is he says there's no evidence that Epstein ever took part in any pedophilic activity at all, if you read the emails. Well, that's not true. In fact, there's an email from Jeffrey Epstein to someone else, and he says, I met your friend who's a reporter, and she wanted to talk to me about a man she's heard about who has a private island where he takes children for sex. And he says she almost fainted. This is Jeffrey Epstein's words. She almost fainted when she found out that bad man is me.
Here it is.
So it's like,
here it is.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
Your friend Aleza told me about the project she's doing, researching a really bad guy that gets children for SEX sent to his island. She almost fainted when I told her that person is me. So there it is.
I mean, if you're a prosecutor and you're trying to put Jeffrey Epstein on trial for this, you don't need more than that email to be able to say, in his own words, he described himself as the bad guy who gets children for SEX sent to his island.
I mean,
he says it's me.
Did you bring that up to our friend Michael Tracy?
So unfortunately, we didn't have that one in front of us. We had just reported on it, but I told him there are a number of emails with this. And then, of course, when we release it, we play this this video. But he and I gave him several others, by the way, also. And he just kind of danced around it. But the reality is the emails do prove, they absolutely prove that this is what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And he had people to whom he was trafficking children. There's no question about that, Cash Patel. There's no question that this is real, and people still want to pretend it's not real, and that there's a, as Michael Tracy says, a mythology around it. There's not a mythology around it.
No, I have sympathy for, in a sense, for people like Michael Tracy or Matt Taibbi. Not very little for Schellenberger, because that guy, the shit he said on Joe Rogan was just humiliating.
It was.
But, just absolutely humiliating. And now he's out there lying about the Candace Owens and the Charlie Kirk. He's flat out lying. He's saying that Tyler Robinson confessed. He never confessed. That's a complete lie. And so Schellenberger's credibility is at zero with me at this point. What do you think it is? I think Michael Tracy's he's a contrarian's contrarian. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think he's being paid off to do it at all. What do you think's in it for people like Schellenberger? It seems to me that there's a connection between Israel and the stuff that he's denying, right? So they seem to be compromised by Israel. Does that make sense to you?
It definitely makes sense. I don't know that we can prove that, but I think there's obviously look, with Epstein, we've known for a long time Epstein was tied to Mossad. There is no doubt about that. He was tied to intelligence agencies, CIA, Mossad. There's no question.
There's no question about that. It's just silly. It's just silly. And all right. So there's some kind of, because there's the Israel connection with Charlie Kirk's assassination, and there's of course the Israel connection with Jeffrey Epstein, and that none of the things that Schellenberger says makes any sense at all. In fact, everything he presents as evidence that would dismiss our concerns actually are evidence that would reaffirm our concerns, which is weird how he can spin it. Let's do another. This is from Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, I just want to
we talked about this with Michael Tracy too, by the way, but go ahead.
I just want to remind people that if you think that half the Epstein files have been released, which is what they say, half of the Epstein files that we know of have been released, half haven't. But there are way more stuff out there that, he had storage lockers. He had stuff that was taken out of his house before his first prosecution ever, computers and hard drives and all kinds of, so there's all kinds of, and we only get stuff from this email, right? This, his vacation, Gmail. Right. So that, that's not the only Gmail he used, but this is so there's way more stuff out there. And if there wasn't anything there, Ben, why would Trump and his administration fight so hard? Why would it take a law to get them to reveal at the first half, and then they still are breaking the law and not revealing the second half? There was nothing there. Why wouldn't they reveal it all, right?
No, that's 100% true. And just statistically and percentage-wise, it's interesting because we talk about the half, right? People will say half is released, half is not. But there was an interesting analysis done based on the amount of data associated with that. And there is something like, multiple terabytes of data that's out there, and only about 300 gigs has been released. About 2% of the data associated with Jeffrey Epstein's been released. How can that be? Well, it's because that means the vast majority of what they have is video data, not emails. And that's what they're not releasing. They're not releasing any of the video associated with it, only emails. And to your point, from his, Jeffrey Epstein vacation at gmail.com.
Yeah. So people need to keep that in mind. There's way more out there than they're admitting to, that people even think is out there. Or exists, and they're still covering up half of it. So to me, that would make me way more suspicious that the accusations of everything people are launching at them is real. That's what I'm saying. Like all the facts that we actually do know point in the other direction. And you have to really twist yourself into a pretzel to make it go the other, like, that somehow Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, that kind of thing. Right. Even what do you think about the pictures of Jeffrey Epstein when he was dead? They don't match up. They don't look like him.
Well, they not only do they not match up, but the autopsy is even more interesting to me because, I guess if you've hanged yourself or someone else has beaten you and hanged you, I guess you could look different. But the fact is that Jeffrey Epstein, did not have his
prostate.
He didn't have it. And that on the autopsy, it's there. So the body that's in the autopsy is not his body. There's no question that that's true. Again, these are things that I don't even want to say like stupid people can figure out, right? Because it's not even about being stupid. But if you were just trying to make a case in a court of law, much like what's happening with the Tyler Robinson thing right now. Everyone's freaking out because, the bullet. Well, the bullet cannot be tied to the rifle that it was fired from. Now, there could be 100 reasons for that. About 1 in 5 aren't. But you cannot conclusively connect something. Well, in the case of Epstein, we can conclusively connect that cannot be his body because you don't regrow your prostate. It doesn't happen. So how did he get one?
How some men have wisdom teeth, some men have wisdom prostates, right? And if there's anything you need wisdom around, it's your cock and balls. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Right?
The least wise part of us.
But people will say Epstein's brother identified him. What do you say to that?
I mean, again, what does that mean?
Right.
We also heard Tyler Robinson confess to a murder that his family says he never confessed to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So there's so much, and I will agree with Michael Tracy on this point. We didn't agree on much, but on this point, I would agree that there is a lot of mythology that surrounds any story like this, because all you need is someone to say it or write it. And that's why disinformation, again, going back to that term, is so effective. All you have to do is throw some stuff out there, and then it becomes, well, this is true and this is not true, and it's very hard. And that's why I really, as a journalist, we try to find the few things that we can prove one way or the other, right? It's very similar to, I have thought for weeks now, I guess I'm wrong, maybe, but I thought for weeks now that Netanyahu's dead, right? These could not be alive. Well, now it looks like, well, maybe he is alive. But here's what I would stand by. Even if Netanyahu's alive, he certainly is not the person in the AI videos that the Israeli government and military keep putting out. That's not him, because those are AI videos. It's very, very clear. So you have to latch on to one thing at least that you can say in an age where it's so hard to tell what's true and what's not true. You have to find the 1 or 2 things that you can actually prove are true or not true. And in Epstein's case, and certainly with his death, which was not a suicide, there are several things you can latch onto and say, yeah, you can tell me that his brother identified his body. I'm telling you, he didn't regrow his prostate.
And you haven't heard people who say, "Oh no, that prostate thing's been debunked." That email that somehow wasn't credible.
I'm sure there are people who are saying that. I haven't had anyone who's been able to debate me on it so far.
Oh, okay, all right. So let's go to this. This says this is from Jeffrey Epstein. And it says, this gets us out of our self-funded garage biology phase to the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. Once we reach the first birth, everything changes and the world will never be the same again, much less the future of the human species. Attached doc shows 1.7 million a year for up to 5 years, plus 1 million for a lab setup. That's 9.5 million to fund 5 years, 6 million for So next steps, I'm happy to hop on another call, or I could take a trip to meet you in person. And if you have any thoughts about what I might be missing or whether this is reasonable estimate to get to the first live birth, then I would really appreciate any feedback you have. I'm traveling in Lithuania from August 7th through the 14th, and I'll probably be unreachable during. So this is him talking about them doing. Tell me what you think this is about.
Well, I mean, again, there's no real question about this because this isn't the only email associated with this. There are multiple emails about, and we talked about this with Tracy, designer babies. They wanted to grow babies in a lab. There are emails in which he explains that the people who are funding this are extremely nervous about being identified and they have to keep their identity a secret because for obvious reasons, they don't want to be associated with having done this. He talks about, again, sperm modification in emails. They talk about how they're going to create these designer babies. And in some emails, he even talks about how they're going to grow babies for black market sale. So it's not even like he talks about in this email, the world will never be the same again, much less the future of the human species. But in other emails, he's talking about actually selling babies on the black market that they're going to design and grow themselves. And so when you take those things and lump them together, and by the way, do you know where all this was happening?
No.
Where these labs were?
No. New Mexico?
Take a guess. No.
Israel?
Take a guess. Come on. Ukraine,
of course.
Of course.
Yes.
The biolabs
Lab center
in
of the world.
Ukraine were being used at that time for designer babies to grow babies in a lab, sperm modification. We're going to create these, these babies for whatever reason, and then the black market selling the babies. And they were doing it in Ukraine. Why? Because it would be illegal to do it anyplace else. His sponsors didn't even want their names in emails, obviously not realizing at the time eventually they'd all come out, but did not want their names in emails or to be on any list of documents because they knew what they were doing was not just illegal, but utterly immoral in every way. And this is what he was doing.
And so how did, when you said you showed this to Michael Tracy?
Well, I explained them to him, yes.
And how
then he did not have an answer.
Oh, he
did not have an answer. No.
Oh, okay.
Just said, well, and then he wanted to talk Pizzagate. Yeah, well, pizza, and he went back to pizza. This one he left alone.
So the idea is that they're literally talking about pizza and grape soda. That's the
idea. He said, I like it. This is how Michael said it to me. He says, listen, we all talk about pizza. Pizza's a delicious food. He says, if you look through my email, you'd probably find an email about pizza. I said, I bet I would. Very possibly. I don't think I'd find 900. And he had to confess, okay, yeah, probably not. Probably not 900 emails about pizza. Yeah, probably not. Unless you're a big fat fatty. And a lot of those people wouldn't even have 900 emails about pizza. That's a lot of conversation about pizza if you don't own a pizza place. And by the way, one other note, none of those emails are a receipt to an actual pizza place or an order to a pizza place. It's conversations between people about pizza.
Well, there's the
there it is. Birth babies for black market use too.
Yeah, there's this spoke of going to, well, there was I thought I had it, but I don't. There's the email that says want to get a cheese pizza and grape soda, only you would understand, right? So, or something to that effect.
That's what he says. Only you would understand.
Only you would understand. Who? Everybody would understand what a cheese pizza and a grape soda is. So why would he say only you would understand?
Yeah.
So that again,
only you.
This doesn't make sense. Let me just show this to you. This is Jeffrey. I hate, there's so many redactions. That's the horrible thing. But down here it says. You made many unusual offers. You offered to buy my baby 6 months into our relationship. So this is someone telling Jeffrey Epstein in his that he offered to buy a baby, a 6-month-old baby. So
and Michael Tracy had no answer for that one either.
Like nothing?
No. He wanted to move on to talk about pizza.
Okay. All right.
Because the pizza is the easy one to punch at, right? Oh, it sounds silly and you can't really prove. By the way, guys, folks, that's why it's called code language. That's why they talk that way.
Yes.
So you can't go back later on and look at the email and say, see how here you talk specifically about a child? That's why they're talking about pizza. The point of code language is to try to disguise and diffuse what you're talking about.
And so this one says, spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch, and that was Epstein's place in New Mexico, right?
That's right.
She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. Whoa.
That's right.
Whoa. So again, for me, there hasn't been an explanation of the grape soda pizza and the cheese pizza, which obviously, as the FBI has all but confirmed officially, that cheese pizza, CP, stands for exactly what we think it stands for, right? And so you have to really bend. You have to be like the most incurious person in the world without being able to, or the worst puzzle put together person, right? You have to be horrible at jigsaw puzzles to not figure this out. And again, it's just kind of stunning to me. Now, all right, I guess I'll just leave it there. What do you think we'll ever see the rest of those files on Jeffrey Epstein?
So I'm surprised that the files have not been destroyed. If you don't want to release them, why aren't they destroying them? They might be destroying them. But I guess technically when it comes to electronics and servers and all that, it's difficult to ever actually destroy anything, right? I think it depends on who the next administration is. I think, there is a deep desire from the public to see whatever else is there. There is a deep desire from the public to unveil all this stuff. I still believe, despite the fact that Trump went into office saying he would do a lot of things that he's not doing, he proved something that I find to be pretty interesting. He proved that you can create a coalition out of people who don't want more endless war and who want transparency and want government to be responsive and want us to stop be beholden to, other nations. And he proved that you can actually build a coalition enough to win the popular vote. My hope is that come 2028, there will be on both sides of the aisle, there will be candidates who run specific to those issues, and that we can actually get someone who has the fortitude to go ahead and put out the rest of it and says, you know what, let's do it. Let's put those files out. Let's make all of it public. Let people know what's there. I don't see why we couldn't get that.
I hope so. I wanted to I have a prediction. Do you have any predictions of what Trump's going to say tonight?
I think Trump is going to say that the war is being wound down because it was so glorious, such a victory. We've won. We crushed them. We defeated them. We're going to leave. I'm very angry at NATO allies because they didn't want to, let us utilize their airspace and utilize the bases in their countries. And so I'm thinking about leaving NATO. He won't actually do it, but I'm thinking about leaving NATO. But as my punishment to them, they're going to have to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to do it. And he's going to use that as his reason why he's able to leave without it open, because this is his way of sticking it to the Europeans. I think that's what he'll say tonight. I think Trump, despite how isolated he seems to be from the reality of what this war looks like and his absolutely abysmal poll numbers, I think even he realizes, and the Republicans around him who were about to get slaughtered in the midterms realize that this is incredibly unpopular. The only thing that could make it worse is putting boots on the ground. Only thing worse.
Here's my prediction. So the latest polling show only 12% of Americans support boots on the ground in Iran.
That's right.
That doesn't mean he's not going to do it. And but what he's been through this whole thing, he's been making statements that to influence the markets, right?
Yes.
And so when he comes out and says, "Oh, we're having good negotiations," they're not negotiating.
No.
He's making that up, and he says, "Oh, the war's going to be over. We're getting most of our demands met." He's doing that to juice the markets, and it's been working to a certain degree, and it's working less and less as it goes on. But my prediction is this: that he will say exactly what you said, and then on Friday, because it's Good Friday, so it's an off day, he's going to send in ground troops on Friday. This is my guess, because he sent he sent 10,000 Marines over there, which costs a heck of a lot of money to do. They're sending another aircraft carrier over there, the George W. Bush over there. So I really think that he's been saying two things the whole war. So he's going to say that thing tonight, that, hey, it's over, we're letting it go. We haven't opened the Strait of Hormuz, but that's not our problem because we got all the oil in the world we want. That's Europe's problem. That's NATO's problem. That's China's problem. Let them go in there and open that up. And that's what and then on Friday, I hope I'm wrong, and I'm not the best at predictions, but I'm pretty sure he's going to do the ground invasion on Friday.
It's very possible that could happen. I mean, keep in mind there are 50,000 U.S. troops who have been called up, right? So you mentioned the Marines. There's another 40,000 on aircraft carriers who are in the region who could. There are about 18 of those Warthog planes that they've brought in. The Warthogs, they're able to. They're specifically designed for a ground invasion because they cut through tanks with the guns they have mounted on them. So it is possible that is the plan. I think the issue would be, what would be the mission? Now, the mission could be, they claim they want to go in there and grab a bunch of uranium. There is a report today that says that the military has laid out two options for Trump. specific to how to do that, to sending ground troops for the uranium. And it involves, Jimmy, it involves building an airstrip inside of Iran on which they would land a plane. That reportedly, that Trump's response to it was, this is even crazier than an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he's the only one who makes it home alive. So it's very complicated. Trump right now has already lost so much of his MAGA base, despite what the polls are telling you, because I guess you have to define what MAGA is. Let me redefine it. The coalition that got him elected, he's lost about 2/3 of it, right? It's gone. The only thing that could make Trump more unpopular would be having a major scene of Marines who are killed and slaughtered, several thousand of them who die as a result of some botched operation where they go into Iran. What I will say is this: every step of the way so far, this administration has gotten it wrong in terms of the resistance they would receive, how the people of Iran would respond, how the Iranian military would respond. They've been wrong so far on every count. So if they do this, I think it'll be another miscalculation and it'll end very, very badly.
Well, I don't know if you heard this, but this is breaking. Russia Chechen combat units officially informed Iran that they're ready to deploy to Iran to fight alongside Iranian forces if the United States launches a ground invasion. Whoa, let's listen to this. Here we go.
Iranian state media is now claiming that combat units from Russia's Chechen Republic have declared themselves ready to deploy to Iran if the United States launches a ground invasion. According to Press TV, these forces are loyal to Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov and have told Tehran they will fight alongside the Iranian armed forces if US troops move beyond air and missile strikes onto Iranian soil. The reports describe the ongoing US-Israeli war against Iran as a religious war and say the Chechen side is framing any direct intervention as a jihad, a battle of good versus evil in defense of the Islamic Republic.
Well, I'm sure Trump feels like you can't have World War III without Russia. It just wouldn't be right. We have the best war and we have the best opponents you've ever seen. This is going to be a great World War III. You're going to love it. Russia would be very offended if we didn't invite them. So that's what it sounds like to me. So what do you make of that threat?
I don't know. I've talked to some sources who are saying that a lot of that's being overblown. That these are individual groups, like the Chechens are not necessarily, this group in particular is not under the overarching Russian military, so it's kind of a separatist group. And so would that involve, like, for instance, Putin calling up soldiers and sending them? No, it's a very different kind of thing. However, I don't see Russia wanting to get involved in this, China wanting to get involved in this. They don't need to, right? The advantage for Russia and China right now is so stark because the US military has been degraded very, very badly during this war. But more importantly, the evidence of what it means to engage in warfare with the United States has drastically changed as a result of this. So think about it this way. 25 years ago with the Iraq War, obviously we go into Iraq, we roll over Saddam Hussein's Revolutionary Guard at the time. They can't do anything to us. Shock and awe campaigns. Then we get bogged down, for a decade in a stupid war that we shouldn't have been there in the first place, but we're bogged down in this ground war. But in terms of the actual firepower of the United States, very impressive. And people say, look how strong they are. It ain't 25 years ago. And what's amazing to me is how the Iranians have done what nobody has done to the United States ever, actually, in a lot of ways. Think about the Patriot missile batteries. Think about the THAAD, the missile interceptors have been destroyed. So many of those THAAD units, right, have been wiped out. And those are like $1 billion a piece. The C-3 radar plane that cost $600 million, right? There's only 17 of them in the world. Now there's only 16 because the Iranians blew it up. But they blew it up with a $20,000 drone. $20,000 to $600 million. The military industrial complex, we've talked about it for a long time in this country. People like you and me have railed against it. but I don't think we even recognized how much of a scam it was. Because, yeah, they're wasting massive amounts of treasure. Yes, they've got these crazy contracts. But what's much, much more interesting to me is that they've been selling this antiquated equipment. And now we find that a military like Iran, which, you know, I guess no offense to Iran, but this is not a world power. This is a regional power, has the ability with $20,000 Shahed drones to knock out, you know, and take incredible hits against our military, against our technology. They have utterly destroyed every base in the region. There are reports that say these bases are uninhabitable now because of what the Iranians have done. And this is not a world power. But it is a power that said, we're watching what the U.S. does, and they're not ready to fight. And we're not. We're not ready to fight a war like this. So imagine if you did bring Russia or China in, who have hypersonics. THAADs can't even stop those anyways. Patriots can't stop those. They can't stop hypersonics. Iran's used a few hypersonics, but very, very few so far.
Iran is very much like Afghanistan in a sense that it's mountainous terrain. And so if you try to, you know, have Marines go in there, they're sitting ducks. And so, you know, I think Trump's going to try to take a hold of some kind of island, whether it be Karg Island, or some other place, and try to come home with some uranium dust and say, look, we did it. So he's got to do something like that. So that's why I think there will be boots on the ground starting Friday. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, it's very possible. He wants the win. I like in the press conference he had today. He said, "I'm going to make a speech tonight, and I'm going to tell everyone what a great job I've done and how terrific I am." Well, I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that's absolutely going to happen tonight. The problem is that even if you come back with some uranium dust, it means nothing, right? And the cost to get that would be so high. I almost think I think there has got to be some level of understanding that Trump has that this is going to be the optic that's used against him. It's so interesting to me, Jimmy, that 10 years ago, 11 years ago, Donald Trump stood on a stage and really didn't have much chance of becoming president. And he, in one night, vaulted to the top of the Republican Party while simultaneously and gloriously ending Jeb Bush's political career by pointing out the one thing no Republican candidate had been willing to say, which was, we went into a disastrous war, we never should have been there, and we should never do it again. And 10 years from now, and it may be way less, it may be just, 2 years from now, there will be Republicans who stand on a stage who say, Donald Trump dragged us into a war we never should have been in, and it should never happen again.
He's turned himself into Jeb Bush. So is J.D. Vance. So is Tulsi Gabbard. They're now the Jeb Bush of this administration. And so if they ever run for president again, there's going to come a Donald Trump who's going to do the same thing to them, that Donald Trump did to Jeb Bush. And I can't believe they don't see that this is happening. My prediction is that Donald Trump's polling is so low now, and it's only going to get worse because there is inflation now, and inflation's going to even go higher. Even if the war ended today, the inflation's going to go higher. He gave a speech today, well, like you were talking about. He said, yeah, we don't have money for daycare. We don't have money for Medicare and Medicaid. We're doing a war, which is the exact opposite of what he ran on.
That's right.
The exact opposite of what he ran on, and the exact opposite of why people voted for him. People voted for him because it was America first. And so we're going to start taking our war money and putting it into our own country, our own education, our own infrastructure, our own health care, our own daycare, to help our worker. And now he's acting like he never said. So I still don't understand what, I think what might happen, tell me what you think, is that it's going to get so bad because there's a record number of Republican people in Congress who are resigning ahead of the midterms because they know what's coming. And so I think it could get so bad that they make Donald Trump resign. And he's going to resign saying, I have some kind of medical issue. And then J.D. Vance takes over, and he's the guy who's going to bring peace. And so then he has a political future. That's just a guess of mine. I think it's likely. But we'll see. What do you make of Tulsi Gabbard? Everybody thought Tulsi Gabbard was the safety valve inside the Trump administration, and now she is completely flipped, and she goes along with whatever Donald Trump says. At least Joe Kent resigned and made a big stink out of it. I think if she would resign, it would go a long way. And why do you think she doesn't resign?
I don't know why she doesn't resign, to be honest with you. I think that she's going to play the card later on that she couldn't leave because even though she saw what was happening, someone with sanity had to stay in there trying to steer this thing away from a nuclear war, I think that'll be the argument that she makes. And by the way, maybe it's not a crazy argument. Maybe that is actually what she's doing. She's saying, if I resign and leave, we're going to end up in a position where there's only inmates running the asylum and someone has to be here to try to convince this president to do something different. And I think there is actually some validity to that idea. Personally, I would like to have seen her resign, but that's selfish reasons to say validate what I already know to be true. I don't need her to actually validate it. He's wrong. But I think that maybe there should be some people who stay in there and say, if we can stay and we can convince this president to listen and to stop, or if we just leave him with the Lindsey Grahams of the world and we leave him with the neocons who have taken over, if Mark Levin is the only voice in his ear, who knows how far this thing spins out of control. I think Vance himself is desperately wishing that this thing would come to an end. He's desperately wishing that he would have been given the chance to go to Pakistan last weekend as he was trying to do so he could negotiate the end, because he needs that, right? They need to be able to say, no, we really are the peace candidates. We really are the peace party. We really don't want any more of these wars. And what Trump is, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but what he's doing is he is destroying the opportunity for any of these people to replace him. And honestly, Jimmy, maybe that's the point for him. Maybe he doesn't want it to be passed on. Maybe he wants to say, I'm not on the ticket, so look how badly we did in the midterms. I'm not on the ticket. They couldn't win without me. And maybe that's really what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, they're the equivalent of having Benjamin Netanyahu negotiating on the United States' behalf. There's no doubt about it, in fact. And they're, some people have theorized that he's being lied to by them. I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is.
Just like he was lied to by Benjamin Netanyahu. So he's got three people in his ear lying to him, and he's shut out everybody else. And his chief of staff, literally was an employee for Benjamin Netanyahu. So I think there's a good chance that that's happening. But a bigger case here is that Iran, Russia, they don't trust Witkoff anymore. They don't trust Jared Kushner, because every time somebody goes to negotiate with them, they bomb them in the middle of negotiations, right? So I don't think anybody would even take a meeting now with Jared Kushner or Witkoff. What do you say?
I think that's definitely true. I mean, the Iranians won't talk to them. Why would anyone talk to them at this point? Because again, it was very clear that multiple times, they did it twice to Iran.
Twice.
Right? They did this a year ago before Operation Midnight Hammer. They went and they negotiated, middle of negotiations, all of a sudden they get hit. And by the way, the story is that was actually when the war was supposed to start. The whole thing was going to kick off then. And it was a guy named Charlie Kirk who went to the White House and convinced the president not to do it. Convinced him, don't do this, it'll destroy your presidency. And then, of course, by September, Charlie Kirk is now dead. And then we come into the new year and it starts. There is no voice, I guess, preventing him from doing it. I believe this. I believe that from everything I've heard about Trump and everything from the people I've talked to who do know him, they say Trump is not a war guy. He doesn't like war. He doesn't like the idea of people being killed. He actually was sincere about all this peace stuff. So then you have to ask the question, if that is true, and I don't think he's being blackmailed into it. I just think he's being isolated. I think the goal with Trump was they surrounded him with the right people. And I think, listen, if you sit, which he does, and you watch Fox News all day long, you would believe this war is going great.
Yes.
The American people love it. They want you to go further. He's just lied to all day long. I don't know, when he ever goes and sits and opens up his X and says, let's see what the people are saying. Let's actually see what's out there. I don't think that's happening. And so I think Kushner and I think Witkoff and I think Mark Levin and I think people like that, Lindsey Graham,
John
has
Hannity.
surrounded the president and convinced him that this is popular and that he would be seen as the greatest president of all time because he's the only one who could have done this. You're the only one. Now, here's my fear. My fear is that they're now telling him, go ahead and use a nuke because you're the only one brave enough to do it, right? And that's the only way you're going to stop the Iranians. And by the way, it is. It's the only way he's going to stop the Iranians would be to nuke them. Obviously, that triggers an absolutely unimaginable scenario once that happens. So I hope that does not happen, and I hope I'm totally wrong about that. But I believe that what they've tried to convince him of is you're the only one brave enough to do this. And at some point, I'm hoping that he has started to realize, listen, Lindsey Graham today came out and said, you know what, this thing should be wrapped up and let's get it over with. Now, why would Lindsey Graham say that? Because he's about to be primaried in South Carolina. It's so unpopular that Lindsey Graham now is on track to lose his primary race in South Carolina. So he's trying to backpedal now and get it over with. And if there is enough panic around the president, now they've become the panicans. If there's enough panic around the president to say, you know what, we got to get this over with because it's actually going to have an effect that we didn't think was the case, maybe he wakes up.
I'm less worried about Trump using a nuke than I am Benjamin Netanyahu. There's a reason why they have those nukes. And so if he feels like, you know, if Trump or if Trump resigns and the United States pulls the rug of support out from underneath Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, which is coming at some point. Now, I don't know if it's now. I don't know if it's next year. It's coming. And that there's a reason why they have the thing called the Samson option. There's a reason why they don't have just one nuke. They have like 200 nukes.
I think it's more than that, actually. Yeah, I think it's like
probably.
300.
Yeah, at least, let's say at least 200. So there's a reason why they don't have those because they don't want to use them. They have them because they want. If they're existentially threatened, they will use them. Netanyahu is he's a bigger maniac than Pol Pot, Idi Amin, and Hitler combined, as far as I'm concerned. And I think he would use a nuke, and then just like. Rubio admitted that, well, we had to go to war because Israel was going to start it. And we instead of saying, well, we tried to, because they know they can't stop them. And so if he uses a nuke, then it's all over. It's a nuclear war. It's World War III. It's done. And I think Benjamin Netanyahu would use one. And especially because if the war ends, he goes to jail.
Right.
And everybody knows that. So
everybody knows that. And look what he's doing now with southern Lebanon.
Yeah.
Right? They've now gone in there. They're flattening southern Lebanon. The Chinese came out today and demanded that they stop or said that they're going to get involved. I mean, there are multiple countries. The Italian prime minister, I heard reports today. I haven't verified this yet, so I hope it's not wrong. But I saw reports today that the Italian prime minister, Giorgia Meloni,
yes, I saw that,
came out and said either Israel gets out of southern Lebanon or they'll use a nuke.
What? I didn't hear that.
That she would bomb Israel, and they would potentially use a nuke if Israel does not get out of southern Lebanon. I think the world is looking at it and saying, we're not going to let you do the same thing to southern Lebanon that you did to Gaza. And that's what they're doing right now, and it has to stop. And what they did to Gaza was so atrocious. The genocide that happened there was so atrocious, but so much of the world just stood by and watched it happen and waited and said, well, I mean, how far would they go? Well, now you know. Now you know how far they're willing to go. Now they're doing it again in southern Lebanon. And so let's see what happens. But yeah, there are reports that a lot of countries are now standing up and saying, nope, get out or we're going to get involved. And I agree with you. The greatest trigger point for potential World War III is Israel. It's Netanyahu himself is the one. He won't end it, and he's the one who keeps, every time there's talk of a negotiation, talk of you're going to, try to bring this thing to an end, they escalate over and over.
Okay. I really appreciate you coming on, Ben. Thanks. I love your work. You do fantastic stuff. You have a lot of courage. You go places that every reporter should go, but 99% are afraid to go. And you almost always vindicated. So nice job.
Thank you. Hey, can I mention real quick too? Tomorrow night, if people will follow me on X, Ben Swann _ 2 ins, we're going to have your buddy Kirk Metzger is going to be on with us, and we're going to be interviewing him. So encourage people to.
Oh, I didn't. Ben, he did not tell me that. Well, that's fantastic. Okay, great job. All right, everybody, check that out tomorrow. Is it on X?
It'll be on X. Yep. That's
Okay,
right.
great. Hey, are you still banned from YouTube?
They just put me back on this year. I got back on. They deleted everything I had, so I had to start from scratch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
you're back
it is
on?
what it is. But back on for now.
Okay.
We'll see how long it lasts.
All right, good luck. All right, thanks again,
Thanks, buddy.
buddy. I really appreciate
Appreciate
you. All right, overstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you ready for that?
Oh, should I tell people?
Yeah, I think you should tell them about that. And
So
then
we'll be doing our Carl Jung book, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. We're going to be doing that Saturday at 1 p.m. So I hope if you're not a member, become a member. You can join our book club. If you're into that kind of thing, it's fascinating. It's the most to me, it's the most fascinating thing that I'm doing in my life. Is because it's what it's all about. If you think that Carl Jung was anything like Sigmund Freud, you're wrong. And this will prove it. This book, it's mostly about spirituality. It's mostly about God and the God that is in. We've all heard that God is inside us. God is not external, and that's true. And Carl Jung kind of discovered that, and in a real way. And he is light years beyond Freud. And that's why he's not taught in schools. They teach Freud because most people don't understand Carl Jung, and they don't, and it's too controversial. But he's definitely light years beyond Freud, and so I encourage everybody, if you're not a member, $10 a month, go to jimmydore.com, become a member. It's a great way to support the show. Plus, we get to talk about Carl. If you have an open mind, it is fascinating. And again, it's the thing I like to do more than anything. And
we're only on page 70, and we'll probably read up to page 84, which is, I believe, the end of chapter 3.
So we're on page 70 of the book right now, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. It's a fascinating read. And you find out that this guy was onto this stuff as a kid. He figured out stuff that most psychologists today don't understand. Anyway, so we'll see you. That's 1 p.m. Saturday. And right now we're going to jump over to Rumble. So let's meet everybody. Everybody come meet me over at Rumble.